Hey everybody, Brooke Sann here. Okay, so today it's one video of a two-part series. We're talking about sex today, which I love to talk about. So first video today is going to be a relationship with yourself and how it affects your sex life. And next week, we're going to be talking about relationship with your partner and how that affects your sex life. All right, let's jump right in. Let's talk about how we feel about ourselves and how this affects what happens in the bedroom, because it does. There's a direct correlation with our thoughts and feelings about ourselves and how we show up as a partner. Okay. So let's first talk about your relationship with yourself. So we know that our thoughts create our feelings, right? And us mamas, things have changed over the years after we've had some babies and some surgeries and things like that, right? We've got thighs that touch, we've got mama bellies and stretch marks, we have jiggly arms, we have, boobs that only look good when there's bra on because then they actually look like boobs, right? We got lots of things going on here. So all these thoughts that we have about our body, right? So we might feel a little like disgusted even, or we might feel like just like really insecure, right? And so let's talk about what happens when we have an emotion of insecurity. What do we do when we're feeling insecure? It's like total body language, right? It's like turn away, right? Like we are literally and physically holding ourselves back, right? Like we're hiding under sheets and we're covering ourselves up and we're, wearing clothes and things like that, right? Like, so that insecurity, that disgust, that whatever it is that comes from our thoughts, that's holding us back from so much pleasure, right? So when we don't have a relationship with ourselves, when we don't feel even neutral about our bodies, it's depriving ourselves and our partner from so much pleasure, so much goodness, so much connection and fun and excitement and love. Okay? So let's think about a little bit how we show up in the bedroom right now. And I want you to really understand that there's nothing wrong with this. Our mind is so busy, it doesn't want to think about anything, right? It wants to think about all the things that we did today and how we don't have time for this and we're not in the mood and we don't want anything to do with that. But the idea, like it is our birthright, right? Pleasure, sex is designed for us. It's designed to feel good, be enjoyable, and have an opportunity for connection and that intimacy. It is such a beautiful thing, but we are holding ourselves back. You are holding yourselves back. Thinking thoughts about your body and how it's not what it should look like, and it doesn't look like my girlfriend's, and this used to be different. All these thoughts are not serving you. They're causing you a lot of self-harm, negative self-talk. That's creating a lot of negative emotions that cause us to hold back, disconnect, withdraw, all of those things. So what I want to offer you is this thought. Your body does not need to change for you to enjoy sex. You do not need to lose weight to have an amazing, hot sex life. You do not need surgery. You do not need a boob job. Nothing needs to change for you to enjoy sex. Did you know that? It is not our body that is the problem. It is our thoughts. It is our mind. Nothing external outside of us. Even our spouse, we're going to talk about this next week. Our spouse doesn't need to do anything different. Did you know that? He's perfectly fine as he is. We'll talk about that next week. But nothing outside of you needs to change for you to enjoy your sex life. The only thing that needs to change is what happens up here. Because if we're thinking thoughts that I don't look the way I should, I don't like this, it's uncomfortable, right? Like all of these thoughts cause these emotions and these feelings that hold us back. Sex is an amazing thing. If we don't have a relationship with ourselves, if you don't even know where to start, right? If you hate your body, there's a couple things we can do. The first thing that we need to do is we can start creating some more neutral thoughts. We call them kind of ladder thoughts, right? Like you might not have a thought like, I love my body. This is wonderful. I love the way I look, right? That might not be believable to you. So we start having a little bit more neutral thoughts. So just like, I have a body. I have female human breasts. I have a stomach that has stretch marks. I have thighs that touch. My arms jiggle, right? We just kind of need to neutralize it a little bit, kind of embrace it. It's this whole human experience that I've talked about a lot. Like we can't just focus on the positive things, right? We have to embrace all of it, right? The human experience, the sexual experience is when we embrace everything. It's all part of it. So if we are struggling with some parts of our body that we don't love, then we need to start neutralizing them a little bit. Just kind of taking deep breaths and maybe acknowledging that like, yeah, I don't like my boobs. I'm really struggling with that. There's some sensitivity there, and maybe just kind of acknowledging it like, yeah, I'm struggling a little bit with it, but I'm going to believe one day that they're amazing. Like one day I'm going to love them. Like maybe it's just this thought, like I'm working on believing this. And so working on believing this is neutralizing it. So here they are. Here's my body. This is where I'm at. Kind of creating some like self-acceptance. It may not even be love at this point, right? Like we might not like love our bodies, but we're accepting them. They're part of us. They've done amazing things. They've delivered babies. They've carried babies. They've nursed babies. They've done lots of things. So creating a little bit more acceptance for our body is going to allow us to neutralize it. And then things are going to begin to change. When we can open ourselves up and accept ourselves right where we are, have a relationship with ourselves. And I'm going to quote Danielle Savory, who is like the sex coach expert. And I love her. You should listen to her podcast. Her podcast is called It's My Pleasure. I'm going to link her below. But she talks all about female pleasure. And it is amazing because she is a neuroscientist. So she talks all about what's going on in our brain and how as women, the goal isn't the climax. It's not always all about the orgasm. It's all about pleasure. Like taking all that pressure off of ourselves and just learning to enjoy our bodies and feeling good and opening ourselves up to it. It's amazing. Amazing things happen. We can just meet ourselves right where we are and love ourselves. That comes next. After we meet ourselves, we love ourselves and more wonderful things happen. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video today. Come back next week because we're going to talk about those husbands and our sex life. Big stuff coming your way. All right. I'll see you guys next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.